not sure if this is going to work right. Okay, so it's not daylight yet. But it was daylight when I woke up in my ditch. We got a problem. We've got tons of problems. But there's a huge problem with the superhero movie thing, fetish for superheroes from Hollywood and all kinds of stuff. The first thing that you will notice, especially with your children that have special needs, but a lot of children, especially the younger they are, when you give them comic book heroes, superheroes, the first thing that secularity is teaching us, is teaching our children, is to fight. You know, superheroes always have some kind of ability to fight, beat up people, and they're bad guys. There's a lot of problems with violence. You know, we have a ton of problems with violence. Well, most of the anime garbage that's out there, children's programming. Anime is all children's programming, even when you're 40 and still watching it. My Little Pony. It's children's programming. Oh, they're programming children. And they're programming, number one, to make sure that those kids want to fight, want to be aggressive. You know, but give them some kind of sword, some kind of other thing, and make sure that they fight. I mean, most of the kids that play, I was one of them, they make gun sounds, they make sword sounds, thunder, cats. But the programming, the music comes with the programming, right? I mean, it's, if you listen to the words of the music, you're no fun anymore. If you realize that your children are being programmed to watch and continue to watch aggressive things, that's a problem. You are training that kid, and when you are putting no restraints on their watching time, and you just think, oh, they're watching cartoons, or they like this, or they like that. Even the Looney Tunes taught us some very inappropriate lessons at a very young age. And yes, as I become older, I am quite the stinker. But the bigger problem is the superhero thing. The superhero thing kind of also comes into the fold of the video game problem. There's nothing worse than showing invincibility and a false sense of grandeur associated with some kind of superpowers. But, you know, most of us get really frustrated in a game like Minecraft if you haven't, like, triply backed up your saves. Like, you die and then you got to go all the way back to your last point. But they're all a waste of time anyway, because when you look at the log of hours, you realize my biggest frustration the older I've gotten was how much time it takes to do everything. The games were designed to be longer and longer. I used to think that's what makes a great deal. If I'm going to pay $50 and $60 for a video game, like a season pass, it costs another $20 and whatever. It's, you know, that's a good deal. I want my game to take me 100 plus hours. Well, I certainly don't want a game like the Animal Crossing thing where it's just, you know, you do it daily and you never really beat the game. You just keep going. You just constantly keep signing on, keep earning whatever, keep prestiging. But when you're dead, you're dead. Tempus fugit. Memento mori. Tempus fugit. Memento mori. That's the opposite of the superhero. That's the opposite of every video game. Oh, you just start over. Just start over. you have another life. Well, we don't have another life. We only have one chance to get this right. One chance. But, even though death is certain, so is eternity. Eternity is certain. Bet on it. Stake everything you can on it because it's certain. And because of that, superheroes aren't going to help you be heroic in your own life. And they're not going to help your children. Because they're going to cripple your children into believing that they need to be waiting for that somebody. And we are that somebody. If you want to talk about heroic, extraordinary individuals, look no further than the doctors of the church, whose weapons were the rosary, the Bible, contemplative prayer, journaling, adoration, veneration, self-mortification. Teresa of Avila, the more I read, she was a fantastic writer. She was contemplative. She spent an awful lot of time not talking, which is why she's a doctor of the church and someone that I need to listen to a lot more. St. Augustine of Hippo rejected everything, ran from everything. But as he continued to look in from the outside, he realized how beautiful the inside is. But he did that through contemplation. He did that through continuing to put himself in the presence of the ordinary, who do become extraordinary, but don't do it through anything that you and I can't do. We can do this from praying, from just simple contemplation of things like tempus fugit, memento mori. Just remember, superheroes with, see, Infinity Stone never made sense to me. Infinity Stone might, but not Infinity Stones. You cannot add or subtract from infinity. So creating an infinity with any more than a singularity doesn't make sense. But it does if you're trying to program people to snap things out of existence. And also to say, there's multiple infinities. There's a multiverse. There is a singularity that is so consciously aware, so closely connected to the ordinary. On October 17th, we've got a power-packed week coming up here. October 15th is Teresa of Avila, a doctor of the church. We have martyrs coming up. We have a martyr tomorrow, October 9th. But on October 17th, we have St. Ignatius of Antioch, who is a very early hero, a normal hero, a martyr, who was put before the lions in Rome, who wrote letters to his people to not only tell them to pray for the individuals that were throwing him in that pit, but also to tell them, do not come to save me. I have prayed and I have come to complete peace for many years in my life that I would be martyred for my faith. And I consider it a great honor in Jesus Christ to be a martyr for my belief, for his faith, for his church. Do not come to save me and pray for those who will kill me. that may my flesh and bones be grind as food for the lions. And the famous quote, and may the blood of the martyrs be the seed of the Catholic Church. That as my blood hits the sand in the Roman Colosseum, which it did, the faithful that spring up from those drops of blood are innumerous. It may be a supernatural thing to think of resurrection and eternity, but is it extremely within your grasp and your children's grasp to understand death? And the fact that one death, one life, should be connected with one faith, one hope, one single and universal truth, and one love in our Lord Jesus Christ.